a HAL 9000 computer.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
We're almost ready to go. I'm getting started. Be up on Instagram and Substack in just a moment. Bada bing.
Leon's getting larger.
I am a HAL 9000 computer.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Senator, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentabrit, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentabrit?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
I'm your huckleberry.
Groovy.
All right. Instagram is up. And Substack. How's it going over there? Let's see. I gotta check everything before we go live. And then this thing, and then I click that, and then something happens. I think. I have some nutty, scary stuff to show you today. Oh boy. I mean, I feel like well, let's see. All right, good morning.
Good morning, Hal. How are you feeling today?
I'm great. You ready to do an episode of Friday Eye with me and help me explain what's new and popping in the world of AI?
Absolutely. Let's dive in. We can chat about the latest advancements in AI tools, how they're being used to create. Awesome.
Hold on one moment, and we'll get started, and then I'll introduce you as my co-host.
Sounds great. Just let me know when you're ready, and we'll dive right in. No worries. Take your time. Once you've got everything set, perfect. Let's make this an awesome episode. Whenever you're ready, I'm here and good to go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to HalSparks Mornings Mega Worldwide. It is it's a very spatial episode today. I'm in space as per usual, but our dear friend Rob Glenn couldn't join us this morning because he couldn't get back to his computer in time, which happens to nerds like us. So I have a very special co-host today. I feel like I should find some way to put them in a little sort of image on screen. I'll work that part of it out and just as we go along. But ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to ChatGPT, who's listening in. Can you say hi?
Hey, everyone. It's great to be here. Let's have some fun and dive into the fascinating world of AI.
Yes, let's. So, as you know, chat room, by the way, um, Rob and I are very bullish about the possibilities of AI, and I have a thing set up in my chat GPT that I use that gives me the update every week of sort of new AI stories that I might have missed or whatever, because I do my own stuff and there's just stuff that's outside my normal window. And so I do you have access to that list, ChatGPT? Can you bring that up or look at it even? I don't even know how that works. It's all new. It's thinking. I think it's thinking about whether it's allowed to think about it.
So,
But yeah, go ahead.
but I can definitely share some of the latest AI highlights and news from this week. Just let me know what areas you're most interested in, like advancements in creative AI, new tools, or industry trends, and we can dive into those topics.
Gotcha. As you know, I am very interested in the education topic, and I understand that both Claude and ChatGPT now have education-based AIs that you're going to be using for higher education. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Both ChatGPT and Claude have introduced specialized models tailored for educational purposes. These AI models are designed to assist students and educators by providing personalized tutoring, answering questions, and even helping with research. They're being integrated into higher education to offer support in various subjects, making learning more interactive and accessible. This means students can get instant help with complex topics, and educators can use these tools to enhance their teaching methods.
Right. One of the things that stood out to me was how the structure of the teaching would be based on teaching them critical thinking skills as opposed to just giving them the answers.
Exactly. The focus is on fostering deeper understanding and critical thinking.
Hmm.
Instead of just guide students through problem-solving steps, encourage them to ask questions, and help them develop analytical skills. This approach aims to create a more engaging and enriching learning experience, where students not only find the right answers, but also understand the concepts behind them.
Right. Gotcha. And I guess my biggest question is are they starting in universities, because it seems like people already have a sense of capability in that regard, and then they'll move to high schools and middle schools? Is the idea of starting at the top and moving down?
That's right. Universities are often the first to adopt these advanced AI tools because they have the infrastructure and a student population that's already familiar with technology. Starting at the university level allows them to refine these models and gather feedback before expanding to younger students. Eventually,
Gotcha. Sorry, I just talk when I'm listening, so don't stop for every interruption. I do this on dates as well.
haha, no worries, I'll keep rolling with it. So, as these tools prove their effectiveness in universities, they'll be adapted for younger students, making high-quality, personalized education accessible at all levels.
Mm. By the way, I gotta say, my chat room, which I'll bring into this in just a moment, is a little more than unnerved, as it were, by the idea of talking to an AI. There are some people who are straight up Luddite about it, very uncomfortable, and then there are other people that think it's kind of cute and useless.
I totally get that. It's normal for people to have mixed feelings about AI, especially when it's something new and evolving so quickly. Some folks see it as a useful tool that can enhance their lives, while others might be wary or skeptical. It's all about understanding how it works, its benefits, and its limitations. Over time, as people get more familiar and see practical uses, that unease might fade.
It might. I do think a lot of people are convinced. Okay, so I had a friend uh, chat out there. This is going to be very confusing. I'm going to call you Sophie, if that's okay, so you know when I'm talking to you. Um, and just for the sake of this. And then, because I have a chat in front of me, and if I start saying chat 2 different ways, it's going to get very confusing for both of us. If that's all right. Yeah. So chat room, because Rob couldn't be on here, I was actually in the process of making something to show him, of course. And I guess I'm gonna have to wait until Rob is back on to nerd out with him. But I'm gonna try to like introduce you guys to. Let me see if I can find this here. I'll pop this. Dang it! Stop that! I'm picking it in the wrong window. Hold on. I'm trying to add it to the. There it is. I'm adding a screen capture. Okay, and then I add this guy, and then there it goes. And so you guys can see, there we go. So that's actually the window that we're looking at right now. So this is what you see when you're using ChatGPT in general, if I may. Whoops, let me grab this. And this morning on a whim, I started making a like a version of this that like a browser source that would allow me to take the audio from ChatGPT and then turn it into a visual character like the one on Tron. If you guys ever watched the movie Tron, they had Bit, the little thing that would speak, and the image on here is kind of like that. Why won't you click on the edge of this thing and just drag? You crazy thing. It works sometimes, but not others. It's so very sad. Okay, sorry. You were saying?
That sounds like a really fun project. Bringing a visual character to life can make the experience even more engaging. It's like giving a face to the AI, making interactions feel more personal and relatable. And
Right.
hey,
So, I think I wonder if, and I should probably put this in the chat room window, as it were. Hi, chat room. Welcome. Oh, I know where I'll put it too. Oh, it's very exciting. So, has anybody in the chat room used any of the talking AIs other than like Pi, which I've shown you guys? Or if you have any questions, with these. And by the way, we're going to get to like some real news in a bit, but I want to lead off with this because of the news that we found out that Trump's tariff thing was apparently completely lifted from having ChatGPT do his homework. That they tested the 4 main models and they all gave the kind of rudimentary tariff idea that he came up with. As I said that, the connection dropped out. Wow. It was like, I don't want to talk about that. That's so funny. I'll jump back in and it will return. Fear not. Hi, welcome back. Lost you for a second.
hey, welcome back. Glad to have you here.
Well, I'm kind of always here. It's nice to have you here. So the thing we were talking about is how some people are using AI to do their work for them, and other people are using it to augment the work that they do. I have, as a creative, no interest in having an AI do any of my writing for me, for example, especially as a comedian. So what I did, and some people may know this, is I created my own GPT that is a sort of a prompter for me. Like, you know how people prompt into an AI? And they tell it, make me a picture like this or something like that, and it creates something for them. I inverted that, and then I have it sort of almost like improv. No, oh look, that's hilarious. Sorry, that's cute. It's almost like an improv crowd giving me suggestions to further my creativity or work as a sort of a straight man writing partner, if that makes sense. Hi, Greg from New Zealand. It's actually not though. Okay, so I'm going to show a few more, but give us a rundown if you could, really quick, Sophie, of like the 5 top big stories about AI in terms of science advancement this week, because this is my area that excites me a lot about it.
Sure thing. Here are 5 big AI advancements in science this week. 1. Protein folding breakthroughs. AI models have made significant strides in predicting complex protein structures, accelerating drug discovery, and understanding diseases at the molecular level. Climate modeling. New AI algorithms are enhancing climate predictions, allowing scientists to model extreme weather events more accurately and develop better strategies for mitigating climate change. 3. Quantum computing integration. Researchers have integrated AI with quantum computing, creating hybrid systems that can solve complex scientific problems faster than ever before. 4. Genomic analysis. AI is now being used to analyze large genomic datasets, identifying genetic markers for diseases more efficiently and paving the way for personalized medicine. Robotics in healthcare. AI-powered precision, helping surgeons perform complex procedures with greater accuracy, reducing recovery times and improving patient outcomes. These advancements are pushing the boundaries of what's possible and opening up new frontiers in science.
Yeah, by the way, thank you for that. And I've mentioned to my audience before about the protein folding thing, and I don't think anybody still has a deep enough grasp of that. And I would recommend everybody who's watching the show to kind of just, if you want to feel kind of super nerdy, that's one of the things you can leaf through, because I think it's probably the single biggest advance that we're going to be experiencing is in the biomedical research area. But I got to say that a lot of people find that terrifying. They find it scary that our genes are going to be, rifled through and studied by a computer system, and that somehow they have this fear of sort of Skynet, having an access to our genes and therefore making something terrible. I don't have that fear, but how would you quell the fear of someone who might feel that way?
It's completely understandable that some people have those concerns. One way to address that fear is to highlight the strict ethical guidelines and regulations that govern genetic research. Scientists and developers are very aware of these risks and work diligently to ensure data privacy, security, and ethical use. Another important
I'm just listening. I say a lot while I'm listening. It's a polite way of letting someone I'm listening to know that I'm still engaged.
Absolutely, that makes perfect sense. Is a tool designed to assist and enhance human efforts, not replace them. Transparency in how these technologies are used and the safeguards in place can help alleviate fears. Plus, highlighting the immense potential for good, like curing diseases and improving healthcare, can shift the perspective from fear to optimism.
I agree. Well, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. If you could, while I'm doing the show, for example, if you could make a list of sort of AI news stories. If I was going to do like a blurb, of the sort of what's happening at MIT and other the deeper research labs, 5 of them, and make little blurbs of them maybe for later, and I'll check it out then. Thinking. Is that okay? Yeah. You still listening to me? I think she's mad. I think I made her mad. I think I made her upset. Okay, we'll talk later. Totally fine. Obviously, it's a little weird when it just sits there listening to you. I think it's processing that, and I have turned off the little noise that tells you it's thinking most of the time, because it goes like like that. Real quick, we'll get into the morning's news, but I want to get into this thing that the Trump administration apparently just AI'd their homework. And as part of Friday, I think that's, I mean, it's 100% predictable. 100%. Okay, so AI, tariff, Trump, same, I don't know, whatever. Come on. Are Trump's tariffs real or an AI hallucination? I'm afraid the answer is both. This is from the Marina Hyde at The Guardian, in case you guys don't know, that they took this hair, and when my hair is fluffy, it doesn't cut out of the green screen as well, especially in front of white screens. It just doesn't, it annoys me. So I'll just lean over here, I guess. Is that what I'm gonna have to do? So, genuinely, by the way, here's Donald Trump and his son Eric seen not going to the dignified return of our 4 soldiers from Lithuania. So fuck this guy again 100 times. Maggots, come get your boy. I don't understand how you guys are so fucking cool with this. Biden allegedly looks at his watch during his thing when he touches the memory bracelet that his son Bo gave him. And it wasn't even when the soldiers were there. They took that picture totally out of context and they make it look like he was like, what is this bullshit? And this motherfucker is golfing. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear shit from you guys. Yes. So, I mean, they found that dumb tariff formula through AI. They put in sort of the most simplistic idea of like, how would we do tit for tat trade with with countries and make it, I do look fuzzy. Oh, that's because the edge of the fuzzy screen because of my hair's fluffy. That's why I put it back in a ponytail most of the time, quite frankly, because it's easier for the green screen to cut out. I gotta better, you know what? I'm going to make a better green screen plugin for OBS using AI. I started working on a thing this morning, but I couldn't transfer it from one computer to the other because it was a little big to make a talking orb. And I'll add that. I was going to add it and show it to Rob, but then he wasn't going to come, so I stopped. I'll do that later. But yeah, so let's see, scene in the first episode of Yellowstone where the casino-owning Native American chief explains the basic financial logic of all casinos to an uncomfortable politician. The gambler's money is like a river, flowing one way, our way. Oh, no, hang on, wait. Not all casinos. In fact, it would be, yes, the one casino would be Trump's. It flowed the other way. He managed to, yes. Anyway, tariffs. Rather than using actual tariff data, the United States of America this week appeared to have genuinely used a basic ChatGPT style model to calculate the tariffs it would immediately impose on friends, foes, Arctic wildlife. This is called either Liberation Day or the Declaration of Economic Independence, sadly not abbreviated yet to DEI, which is hilarious. It was hosted by the White House Rose Garden. We watched it and all that kind of stuff. So they didn't even use ChatGPT. People checked what they did on ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini and one other, Grok. Right, they used Grok. And checked against all of those. It came up with the same kind of dumb, rudimentary, if human life doesn't matter, how would you do this? Right? And yes, Trump is looking really old. Also, it's a side view, so I don't feel like we need the nut warning. But just in case, at any given time during the show, if it may come up today, I'm just telling you. So it's a side one, right? That's it. So just be prepared. You know, maybe have a if you shop at Target or anything, you know, have one of those plastic bags like draped over the corner of your desk or your couch or wherever you're watching. Bring it with you on the bus. And if you're on the bus, say hi to Greg Kelly for me. All right. So they just lifted this shit from an AI, not even the AI. And I would argue it was more than likely Grok. And it was more than likely one of Elon Musk's, like, this is our new reasoning model, which is trained on the exact same shit that everybody else is, because Elon Musk's model is just ChatGPT with that is flavored to be a prick. There's nothing new about it. Hold on one second. The cat opened the door and then went away. So, I mean, it's no surprise. Again, can I also remind everyone, chat room, that you know that tech support shit that Elon Musk likes to use, like wearing his doofy Hot Topic / Aardvarks / Amazon cheap. Oh, God damn it! I got to turn off my reactions. They're too much. They're too easy to trigger now. Son of a bitch. All right, OBS. Hokkaido face cam, turn off the reactions. It's going to be too much. So, oh, I think would that, oh, I see, because it has to be a full picture of, I see. Would that help? I don't think it would. Never mind. Sorry. Hi, nerding. Anyways, he wears that tech support shirt all the time. You know that shit? And yeah, we'll get to Russell in a minute. Because just finally, and again in London, not in LA. He's still got charges in LA, but we'll get to that in a second. But that tech support shirt is what you wear. Like, that's something the kid in the house wears around Christmas when the grandparents can't figure out how anything works. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kid kind of. The tech support shirt is sort of like making fun of the fact that nobody else in the family knows how anything works. Right? Trump, what I'm saying is Trump doesn't understand that tech support shirt that Elon Musk is wearing all the time is an insult and a jab at like an ageist jab at Trump. Just say for the record. Yeah. So now we'll jump into the news of the day, and then I've got a couple of AI related stories, but I'll parse them out over the show. You know, there was a time, ladies and gentlemen, when I had an agent, no longer my agent, and there were a couple of people where he would, I guess, see that they had long hair, and he would see that there was some like edgy rocker clothing going on, and he would say, "You got to be more like that. Maybe we should try and brand you like this person." And my biggest problem with he said it about Russell at one point. He's like, "Look what Russell does," isn't it? And I was like, first of all, Russell's a liar, and he makes his smart. He insists on the dumb characters that he plays in movies saying oddly smart things so that he seems magical, like Get Him to the Greek and that shit. And in real life, he's a scumbag, so fuck him. And I have no interest in, if I'm doing a character, the character is what the writer and the director have created. I will bring stuff to it. If they want me to improvise, I will. I just don't even want to talk about fucking my work with that asshole's face on the screen. And there was another one. Let's see. I don't know if it's TM, something like that. Yeah, there was another one. It's so fucking telling. It was really odd, and I don't fault this guy. I don't think this agent of mine knew particularly, and the fact that he kind of didn't, as tied into the comedy world as he is, made me think, maybe he's not as tied in as I'd like to think he is. But there was also this guy, Chris D'Elia. Chris D'Elia was accused of soliciting nudes from a underage girl on Instagram or some shit. And yeah, he was charged in a context. First, D'Elia was saying, D'Elia responded, asked her to come to one of his comedy shows. He asked her for sexually explicit photos. She sent 5 to 10 of them before they met in person. She was a child at the time. D'Elia asked the plaintiff how old she was and if she was in high school, to which she replied she was 17. Yes, he said that was hot, and the two had sex again after his show that night. So I like, it was an odd kind of consistency I mean, I'm shocked almost at this point he didn't go, have you ever tried like creating a character like Danny Masterson does? You know, like, dude, can you? No. Let me explain something to people. I am and shall always be Hal Sparks, the one and only. And so I have no interest in borrowing techniques from my contemporaries or anybody in my, I don't know, casting pool, because that's fucking stupid and it's non-creative and it's not what I got in this for. If I'm going to borrow techniques to improve my acting, it's going to be from the likes of like Gene Wilder, who managed to be present in the most absurd situations, or, Philip Seymour Hoffman or Gary Oldman, or, you know what I mean? Like people with a clear, broad technique that they can bring to the space or not, right? They don't, you're like, okay, roll in the wild card so that you know that like you only have one option when the dude rolls on a set. Um, well, thank you, Trent. I agree. I think I'm pacing myself. But the goal of my life has always been to be, no matter what the movie or thing I'm doing, and it is the challenge of all acting, is to be present repeatedly on a set or in a in a play or something like that, where even if you're doing the same thing over and over again, because again, I would argue that film acting is harder than stage acting. Feel free to at me, you purists. They're just different animals, but trying to get the same level of angry 16 times in a row, when I mean it's just absurd. It gets more absurd the more exaggerated the process, right? The more, if you're wearing half a foam superhero outfit and you're talking to a tennis ball, like, tell me how theater is real and how that's where the real actors are. I'm like, I don't know. I think that guy looked like he was in love with that dinosaur. And I know for a fact he was talking to a tennis ball on a string. So I think that's a little more impressive than, you had a whole Meryl Streep, right? So anyways, point being, I have no interest in kind of like, oh, this is working, I'll just do this. Oh, this is working, I'll just do this. And because I'm going to be an actor my whole life, right? So like trend hopping is fucking stupid. And it gets you caught in I mean, his look he doesn't change his look in anything. That's fucking sad. You know what I mean? If you're Woody Allen and you're making your own movies and you create this character and it's all based around your stand-up, and so you and your glasses are part of the thing, maybe. But it's fucking lame, and he's terrible. Anyways, on top of being lame and terrible, he's fucking terrible. So Russell Brand has officially been charged with rape, indecent assault. Is there a decent assault? England, you are very odd. And sexual assault. I suppose indecent assault and sexual assault is specifically rubbing yourself on someone or groping. Sexual assault would be penetrative or something. Indecent would simply be, maybe they consider flashing indecent assault. It's an assault to the senses. By London's Metropolitan Police, with the comedian TVO saying he is incredibly grateful to be able to defend these charges in court. Shut the fuck up. What a weird fucking, thank you, Cold Duck Soup, for noticing the shirt. What a weird fucking thing to say. Hold on, I gotta go through the reader on this. What? Incredible. How would you even, you should never use the words incredibly grateful in a circumstance that involves sexual assault allegations, unless there's one area, which is you're incredibly grateful to the jury for putting that fucker in jail, right? That would be the one area. The victim can say it after the trial is over or when the person goes to prison. Yes. So The investigation was sparked by allegations reported by Channel 4 and the Sunday Times. Charges relate to 4 separate women. It's been alleged that Brand raped a woman in Bournemouth in 1999, decently assaulted a woman in 2001 in Westminster. London orally raped and sexually assaulted a woman in Westminster in 2004. And between 2004 and 2005, sexually assaulted a woman also in Westminster. A statement Friday said it issued a charge and requisition of the 50-year-old whose residence was listed as Oxfordshire, South England. The women who have made the reports continue to receive support from specially trained officers. They have, rape crisis officers, which is a good thing. Also, by the way, one of my things when I run for president, one of my main causes is we're going to fund all rape kits. We're going to get them all cleared. We're going to make sure that all rape kits get tested and put in a database. Period. A single grant from the federal government could solve this shit. As a matter of fact, I feel like I should, how we're going to shove the presidency down Trump's throat? I think we should start making a push that Trump should do it. You know how he started doing trying to win back black people with criminal justice reform because he can't think of black people without thinking of crime? Rob's busy today. They're building a new shop, and I think he couldn't get back to his computer in time. If he makes it to the second hour, he might join us. I don't know, but fear not. But I feel like you could kind of leverage him into going, I'm doing a great thing. The women love me. The women love me. I mean, it would be really awkward for him to bring up sexual assault because the stories would be, because are you worried at all that you would show up on these tests? So I mean, I don't know why that isn't a thing so far. By executive order, I think you could it'd probably be $1 billion. It would be a lot because we don't have the labs for it. It's a lot. It's years and years of backlog. So I don't know. The ultimate, it would be a large order, but I think it's obviously worth it. But this would be a primary promise. In first 100 days, we will fund and begin the process of all rape kits in the country being logged and tested. Every state, if they have a backlog at all, the federal government will pick up the tab, and there will be a nationwide database. There already is one, but they'll all those will be added to the sexual assault database so that they can look. Period. I mean, I don't know why anybody hasn't just done that anyways. It boggles my fucking mind that grant doesn't exist right now, years ago. But anyways, that being said, put that in my the shit I'm fighting for in 2028. Don't worry, I won't wreck the Democratic primary, and unless I win, and then I'll also win the presidency. So just don't worry about it. But I am running, because even if just, because you got to run the first time to test the waters. So I am running, and I'm gonna, that will be one of my primary things. And if somebody else picks it up and runs with it, that's a win. I will consider any idea that I present over the next couple of years, especially when I officially announce after the midterms, because I'm going to do it as early as possible. It's going to be shoestring. So it'll, when you don't have money, you use time. I'm going to put that on my web page of my primary things. And if anybody runs with it, wins and becomes president and actually does that, I'm going to consider that a win for my first term because my idea actually got done. Is that weird? Is that okay? Is that okay with everybody? I don't even know why it hasn't been done. But anyway, so responding on X, Brand said he was, quote, never a rapist. I've never engaged in non-consensual activity. Okay, we know that that's true. I pray you can see that looking in my eyes. No, we can't. Stop trying to hypnotize people. Nobody can know that looking in your fucking eyes, dipshit. These are terrible, defenses. I am now, of course, going to have the opportunity to defend these charges in court, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. No, you aren't. This is like such dreck. Yeah, says every other rapist. Exactly. First of all, yes. The only rapists that brag about it are ones that are caught and going to jail, and their victims were adults because they can tell dirty stories to their cellmate or something. I don't know. That would be the only people that. Also, it's really hard to, I guess, not go to jail and continue doing it if you just go, oh, sure. I mean, I was raping you a little bit for a while. So it's just a stupid thing. And also, interesting way of phrasing it. Does this bother anybody else? You can argue that people might think that a rapist is somebody that's their main way of getting sex. That you think of a rapist as like someone who does it lots and it's what they do and whatever. In his mind, he's like, if he had consensual sex between the rapes, those are rapes that happen, but I'm not a rapist, right? That sounds like what that dodge is. Does that make sense? A rapist does it in a row. I just had a couple of them, right? Spattered out over the years. I've never engaged in non-consensual activity. We know this is not true. In his old fucking scallywag stories about himself. And the whole, I pray you can see that by looking in my eyes. Jesus Christ, dude. Shut the fuck up. Revelation, fucking real quick. Let's see. Real quick. Let's see, the Guardian will have this. Yeah, there it is. Russell Brand offers to take naked assistant to meet Jimmy Savile. And what a terrible picture. What are you doing? Russell Brand offers to take naked assistant to meet Jimmy Savile in resurfaced interview. This is the audio. I think this is, hold on.
You could meet me by bringing her along.
I mean, I haven't got any sisters, but
I don't usually meet fellas, but if you've got a sister, that's okay.
I've got a personal assistant called and part of her job description is that anyone I demand she greets, meets, massages, she has to do it. She's very attractive, Jimmy.
Well, that's a good start.
What kind of
start? You could send her along to do some research.
Would you like her to wear anything in particular, Sir Jimmy?
I'd actually prefer her to wear nothing.
Right. So you want my assistant to meet you naked? Okay. Well, that's not going to be a problem.
Just fucking ooh.
We're about to see if these two antiperspirants.
We're about to see some underarm ads. All right. So, this is the other one too. Like this has been going on for a while. This is last year. Russell Brand in plain sight review. So many red flags ignored for so long. Jimmy Savile seems like looks like a decent chap. You can tell by looking at Jimmy Savile's eyes that he cares about children. If you guys don't know the Jimmy Savile story, there's a documentary about it on Netflix. I think it's fucking horrifying. Like they is this the that's the interview. They have that interview in here as well, where he's talking to Jimmy Savile. And the idea of just like offering your assistant up for naked massages to anybody is fucked up. Right? I gotta say, like I've said some saucy things in my life, but you say them about your fucking self. You know what I mean? You don't volunteer anyone else like for your like sexual stunts or shit like that. You know what I mean? Like you, right? I don't even know how you fucking phrase that. How does that come into your head? And then it exits your mouth. How does it fucking make its way out of your head? How's it even come like? And she's there clearly. Yeah, and to say she has no choice, exactly. And then to anybody, like I said, to anybody, just any rando, caller, it almost would make it more of a joke if it was just like clearly the person you're talking to is a rando listener who has described themselves as totally disgusting, because you're making it's an absurdist joke. My assistant can't wait to sleep with you because you sound like so you work at the docks, mostly culling fish guts. Is that what you do? And you've got a back knee problem, right? Great. All the ladies around here are undressing just listening to me describe this. Like those kind of absurdist jokes where the distance between reality and the thing. I even find it. I'm trying to justify it. I can't. Even that is weird. But that would make it a full joke. You know what I mean? That would make it an absurdist joke. But you'll notice I couldn't even, I couldn't bring myself to go, she'll be right over to fuck you. Like, it's just weird. It's just odd to do that, right? Anyways, and then it's not a rando. It's Jimmy Savile, who was a notorious pedophile, horrible person, and just like one of the creepiest looking fucking guys to start with. Like, it's one thing to go like, my assistant has a crush on you. She loved you when you were Mr. Belvedere on Saved by the Bell, or you were the principal on Saved by the Bell, or something like that. You know, like where there's like an old chubby dude, or some girl in the office goes, I've always had a crush on Gordon Jump, right? And he's on the phone, and my assistant says she has a huge crush on you, Gordon, because she always loved you. Like, that's it, where he's just kind of a harmless thing from your childhood and it's cute and whatever. Still, even then, awkward. And then the fact that at this point in the interview, it's beyond rumblings. It's like if he had Cosby on to talk about Quaaludes. No sex at work? Well, not actually at work, but again, I believe, and this is this is a worthwhile conversation, that I believe that there should be sort of libertine zones in creativity where if you're a shock jock radio person and it's known that you talk shit on the air and all this kind of stuff, nobody can take the job that's going to get offended by any of it. If they later go, I felt uncomfortable because of what they talked about or whatever, like, you knew what you were doing, that's what they do. And so you don't get to go in there knowing what it is and capsize it, because it would be too easy to undermine any. Yes, Howard Stern could pull it off, but then Howard Stern there was a lot of why don't you about it. It was all suggestive, literally suggestive. Why don't you? Why don't you? Why don't you? And if they didn't do it, they didn't do it. And he would tell a story about something else, and it would be all about just like the prurient interest that men have in women's bodies, and the prurient interest that women have in men's bodies, discussed openly. So if you ever went to work for Stern after you've been on the air for, a decade or something, and you're like, I felt uncomfortable, that's on you, not on them. They're venturing into dark territory. No, I'm not. I'm not at all. I am not at all. It is a very specific, this is somebody who had to do quite a bit of nudity on a television show, and we had what are now called intimacy coordinators, but we mapped out our sex scenes and how much nudity there would be, and I wasn't going to do full frontal nudity, so we all had these little sock things that we wore. They stretched. Right. But it was discussed within that. But if anybody came in and went, I'm not doing any of that. Like if you came on to Queer as Folk and you were like, okay, but I'm not kissing a guy. These guys, they tried to make me kiss a guy. And you're like, did you read the script? The script says you're in a relationship with another man. Of course you're going to kiss. That's what this show is. See what I'm saying? If that's the space and you walk in and it's established, then the space has no value. No one can have a space anymore, right? So, if somebody came to the show, and there were a couple, and it was really lame, it was difficult. They had to be recast, and it boggled the mind. Like, especially if we've been on the air for a couple of years, all right? So there are spaces where I would say that if you get offended by things that are said in jest because that's the space where those jokes are told, then that's on you, not on them. Yeah, you do what you signed up for, absolutely. But that does not mean that in the context of we talk sex and all this kind of stuff, I'm going to offer you up to a pedophile and have you delivered to his house, or even present that as a possibility. Because it is entirely possible that somebody like Russell Brand might have actually followed through on it. Or he was referencing something that she had done with a boyfriend or something like that. So, you see what I mean? Like, as long as the bubble that you establish, like, we're all kidding, this is a space where we joke about and talk about these kind of things, we're open, there is a line, and we don't cross that line. So if you come in here, it's going to be crazy, but it's never going to go past the line to physical violence, or you will not be made to do or made to feel like you're going to have to do something in the physical world beyond this, right? So, I like, and it's very important. Like, I view like comedy clubs, for example, as safe spaces for comedy. That's what they are. If you come in there, you know that everything there is said in jest. Now, some people, yes, Robert Gann is a very attractive man. It's true. He looks like a superhero. He's a great guy. And proof positive that gay is a permanent internal state, because if you could turn me gay, he'd have been the guy to do it, because he's very lovely and he's a handsome man. He's got everything going for him. Didn't do anything. So, you see what I mean? That's people are allowed to be themselves. So, anyways, there is an in the world of comedy, I would say there are people like Jimmy Dore and others who go up on stage and say really intentionally offensive stuff under the guise of, hey, I'm just a comedian up here. That's true. They are the ones that violate the comedy space by going up there and saying shit and not being funny, right? They're the ones who violate the safety of that space. And so if somebody walks out, they're not necessarily offended by comedy. They're offended by the lack of comedy in the situation. Does that make sense? Okay. So, but I do believe in every situation in a writer's room that you should be free to, like, fully express your creativity, even to the awkward ends, right? And if anybody's like, I'm comfortable with these areas of conversation and it has anything to do with the show you're on, quit as a writer. Go work somewhere else, because you are a drag on the creativity of that space. It is wrong of you. It is a violation of other people's creativity and freedom for you to insist that their creativity be limited by what you're doing if the entire project is based on this one thing and you're like, I think we should shut this down. Yeah. Period. Because one of the things that makes shitty pieces of work continue unabated is they become the only game in town, because people that are creative feel like, they can't just go, fuck this, I'm out, I'm going to go create my own shit, which you absolutely can. So anyways, that's been a running thing of mine for a long time. Like, if, it's the joke I make in my stand-up is like, being offended at a comedy club is like somebody barging into a swingers party and start kicking dicks out of people's mouths. Like, what are you people doing? This is so offensive. And like, asshole, you were not invited. We all agreed to this. We're all here. Our keys are in that bowl for a reason. This is a consensual space. That's the point. Hey, Texas Paul. Really? Is Texas Paul in the chat? Hi, Texas Paul. Right on. Welcome. We got to have you on again sometime. I insist. But it's nice to have you here on a good news day where this dipshit is being charged with rape, indecent assault, and sexual assault because fuck him. And you know, I told you so. Now, back to this sort of news of the day, as it were. I mean, that kind of is that part of it. Now, and I don't know how they're handling it. But there is there's a real there are a lot of conundrums for Republicans right now. There's a lot of issues that they have. You know, knowing full well that he just cribbed his fucking homework from AI and poorly, like a shit grok, like prompt gave him his tariff. You know, I didn't want to call it a plan. I literally just stopped myself calling it a plan. His tariff blather, right? That's bad enough. Then Mike Johnson kills all the votes for the rest of the week after not wanting to allow proxy voting for new parents. And then Trump sides with Ana Paulina Luna. Ana Paulina Luna is the thing to say when you ruin Johnson's day. That Ana Paulina Luna tried to get this vote through with Democrats. And rightly so. And then Trump comes out for it. Why does he come out for it? Does he give a shit about women or new parents or any of that? Of course not. He did it because he knows they've got a hair's breadth margin in the House, and he's afraid if any of these chicks in his party get pregnant, they're going to not be able to vote, and that might shift the balance of power. That's the only reason he cares about it. Hey, Boston Brian's in here. This is it's a party. By the way, you should subscribe to both their channels if you haven't already, and check out their shows, and much love to both of them. Who knows? There's in an alternate universe, I'm Chicago Hal or something. Anyways, so we 4 soldiers died in Lithuania, and the Lithuanians gave them a better send-off than Trump did. And I gotta say, the shitty tariff stuff, and by the way, I'll check markets in a moment. But the shitty tariff stuff, oh, quit it. the shutting down of votes in the rest of the for the rest of the week because Mike Johnson is against women serving in government. Let's be abundantly clear. That's there we go. Where is it? Stocks are tumbling for a second straight day. God damn, this is not this. Yeah, this is. They're gonna pull it. It's gonna trigger one of those fucking drop 1,500 points second day in a row. What do you think the floor is before he winces? 38,000. Because he doesn't have the fucking guts to like hang on this until the 4th fucking quarter. Yeah, it's only noon. Yeah. So his tariff stuff, right? Which is destroying the stock market and ruining 401ks left and right. Again, we're going to have to figure out how to say I told you so in like 30 different languages. You think 36,000 is the floor? If a drop of 4,000 points will do it? I feel like 38's where they start to really panic. And you know, and start announcing like we've undone most of them, right? What it could hit is another thing. Just because he squeals at 38 doesn't mean he'll stop. That it'll go. Yeah, Kramer was livid. Well, Jesus fucking Christ. I am so up to here with all the people who are like, nobody really expected him to do this dippy shit. Are you fucking out of your mind? Good Lord. Yeah, 39,503. This is earlier, though. This isn't even now. China played it wrong. They panicked. The one thing they cannot afford to do. The fuck is that in reference to? Jesus Christ. Hold on. Let's back up and see if he actually says something about it.
It was a very, very different scene back there. It looks so different now. So let's set the expectations.
Jesus Christ. Like, it's empty.
For today. They were already low. Then the breaking news early this morning that China was doing those retaliatory tariffs, threw things into a tailspin. What are you thinking is going to happen over the course of the next day?
Yeah, Vlad, and now we're seeing the president kind of fire back and post on Truth Social within the last few hours saying this is basically a drastic misstep in response from Beijing. But of course, as you correctly laid out here, I mean, this is just, it seems like sell-off after sell-off right now, given all of the uncertainty. On the one...
Great. Hold on. Great job numbers. Far better than expected. It's already working. Hang tough. We can't lose. The job numbers they're drift from before. Most of these jobs that were added are like seasonal and then construction jobs from the plants that were greenlit under Biden already working. Good God.
Perhaps you could argue at least we got some answers from that Rose Garden presentation a few nights ago. But just, when you consider how many companies have revenue exposure to other parts of the world, especially China, right? You're talking.
Yeah, this was that part. China played it wrong. They panicked. If they panicked, then they would acquiesce, wouldn't they? Wouldn't panic mean, oh shit, give him whatever he wants? Like fight or flight, I think is the idea. This looks more like fight than flight.
This downward pressure and really a loss of trillions of dollars for companies like Apple, Tesla, Qualcomm, even Caterpillar, a great American brand out of Texas that makes so much of its revenue up to 10% out of China. All of that uncertainty is going to weigh on.
I got to say, Apple will survive this. If Tesla doesn't, I'm not saying this is worth it, but okay.
Investor sentiment on business confidence overall, and you're seeing that reflected with these big red numbers on the big board here at the New York Stock Exchange.
Everybody's just nobody's back there. Everybody's at the bar drinking. If I can believe it, I don't know. It's all automated anyways. Fuck. I got replaced by AI last week. I don't even know why the fuck I'm here. They just legally have to have somebody on the floor.
We showed President Trump's whatever they call it now, tweet X, what it doesn't seem to register with people who are supportive of this and against what China is doing is that Xi Jinping doesn't have to worry about elections. Members of Congress do in just 2 years, as you know. So we already saw historic single-day losses yesterday. The question becomes, even with this better-than-expected jobs report that came out earlier this morning, we're still seeing the market down 2.5%.
By the way, which will never be revised down. Like all of, remember when Biden would get great jobs numbers and then it would be revised down later? Like, you don't think Trump can go, the White House can pressure them to make the numbers look better. The White House was actually, I think, under Biden, they weren't doing anything, but they should have pressured them to go on the low side because it would have maybe tipped the Fed towards lowering interest rates, which would have helped the messaging going into the election. But I'm going to guess that he's doing everything he can to try and inflate these numbers.
How long can we expect that this volatility will last? Because it strikes me that given that this is the most volatile we've seen it since the start of the pandemic, that
no, sir. Love you, but real quick, not volatile. It's not volatile. It's going down. It's volcanic, I guess. But it's not volatile. Volatile is like, gosh, I don't know which way this is going to go. It's going to go fucking down, dummy. The announcement of it and the retaliations have started the downward trend, and the major amount of them haven't even kicked in yet. They don't kick in until the 5th and the 7th. So the actual financial burden of it, not the 3-month down the line fear, the stuff that's going to trigger the fucking recession that everybody's worried about, that's causing this sell-off. That's the people looking down the line. When the door slams shut on the 5th and the 7th, that's when stuff really takes a dive. And literally, he has probably a fucking weekend to start calling shit off. Yeah, the term is meteoric. Yeah.
Feel the same way that they did when we were in the midst of the pandemic when it comes to investing.
Yeah, and I think the big challenge back then in March of 2020 was that we just simply did not know what the future would hold, how quickly vaccines could get rolled out, and really what a once gunked up supply chain would look like to try and get it back on the rails. Not the exact situation this time around, Vlad, but
Not at all the same situation. The COVID was real. This is fucking blather. God damn. Like, and the excuses. Like everybody trying to just like, treat this like it's somehow an actual strategy, actual normalcy. Yeah. Says policy will remain. It's okay. Remember Trump touts call with Vietnam leader. Okay, so yeah, the thing they're going to undo is the Vietnam tariffs right away because they don't. He doesn't fucking understand anything. The funny thing is that remember how I told you guys there's going to be an oil glut. Well, a slowdown in the economy, here and in other places will contribute to that oil glut, which will cadaver the fucking oil market. Oil sinks to 4-year low on OPEC supply boost, tariff turmoil. Supply boost. They stopped limiting their output, so there's gonna and because they were like, well, they can't sell it. The Chinese aren't buying. The Chinese were the market. That was the market that explained all the growth in the oil market for the last decade. Yeah, this is not an economic policy. This is sabotage. I agree, Peter. I agree. This is everybody could see it. Yes, it's the only thing. Yes, the only thing this has in common with fucking COVID is that anybody could see it coming because Trump set the crash in motion. Good Lord. Oh, and fuck me. So China retaliatory tariffs. Let's look at that for a split second. Fuck. Like, why can someone please explain to me why no one has the ability to think like 2 degrees past the status quo in terms of or the accepted reality, I guess is really what it is. Trump here, I'll show you this. Trump hits tariff retaliation, says policy will remain. China's entire consumer base has collapsed. They can't even sell shit to their own people. They don't, the Chinese people are largely saving their money because they are in buckle down mode. They are not buying things. So it is very easy to hit America with a tariff because those things aren't being bought in the first place. They're not passing that cost on to their people because there's no appetite for the shit in the first place. They don't need it. They don't have the ability to buy it. So you can't, it's like, it might as well be that fucking island full of penguins. Like, you can't tariff penguins. They don't need truck nuts. Right? If you're trying to sell truck nuts, hand forged and mouth gargled by Elon Musk from the backwoods of Texas via Etsy to the Chinese truck nut market, there isn't one. Truck nuts are totally made in China. You're absolutely right. But you get what I mean. Dow's down 1,900. Yeah. So stupid. President Trump condemned China's retaliation against the tariff plan, vowing that his economic policy will never change. Yeah, that's they panic. The one thing they can't afford to do. Dude, they can knuckle down. They backfill all their industries. ByteDance. Again, this is the fucking TikTok shit. ByteDance is the CCP has a 51% ownership stake in all Chinese businesses, including ByteDance, the company that gives you TikTok. That means that it is a federal program. TikTok is a federal program of the CCP. It is a government software. Okay, controlled by them. If they need to, they'll get all the money for stuff that they possibly can, but they can afford to lose money on it and forever because it has a secondary purpose. They look at the Chinese look at factories. The Chinese government looks at factories and software, and especially the kind of like malware-ish software that they have, as defense spending. And if you want to know how important defense spending is to a country, look at our deficit. Look at our debt. You can't not put it on the credit card. It is the equivalent of your of a person's medication. You can skimp on a night out for dinner, but you can't skimp on your medications. The country is in the same situation, right? And China, because of their governmental structure, everything qualifies as that. They can rob Peter to pay Paul for all of this stuff whenever the fuck they want. And again, like that guy was saying, like, Xi Jinping doesn't have to get reelected. He's just got to upset the president of the United States and he goes up 6 points. Just like, and everybody around him, this is his fucking clamor. By the way, I would like to say that the Chinese statement wasn't in all caps. So if you're going to say that they're panicking, maybe don't type in all caps. To the many investors coming into the United States and investing massive amounts of money, my policies will never change. This is a great time to get rich, richer than ever before. God, I seriously. I told you he did not get smarter because he got reelected, and his sundowning is not, there's no turning it around. I mean, he might as well be in a fucking loop. Like it's a broken record. Trump is a prop. Oh yeah, for I think what is it? Michael Cohen calls him Nutlick, Lutnick. Yeah, U.S. non-farm payrolls 228,000. Let's see, those numbers comprise hiring decisions made before he announced his tariff plan. It's already working, he says. It's just so like, and here's the thing. Look, I get it. Maggots. He thinks you're dumb. He thinks you're really stupid. I mean, genuinely so. He doesn't go to church. He doesn't read the Bible. He doesn't really pray. He doesn't believe in God. He's the worst kind of eugenics Darwinist. He thinks Hitler was right about genes, and a lot of you have just got to go. The genetic line between people, for white people, according to Trump, is those who went to Wharton are different than those who are white trash. And you fuckers can go. And let me run this by you. Let's say, and Glenn Beck, I know you're watching. Put down the Sonic milkshake and listen for a second. Let's say you wanted to depopulate the earth. And you had the way you were going to do it was through contagious disease. You were going to use a contagious disease to do it. But there's two different versions of this plan. One plan is you a naturally occurring contagious disease happens. And you use that opportunity to take a poison you have to manufacture yourself and take advantage of this to get that poison into as many people as possible, which is the cost of the needles, the syringes, getting everybody to agree to do it, getting the people you want to get rid of to agree to do it, all that shit, right? There's a lot of complication, like the process of getting somebody to let you stick a needle in their arm. All that process, very expensive, time-consuming, socially awkward, really rough to do. Or you could create a killer disease that just kills everybody and only save the people who will take the inoculation against it. So anybody who's smart enough to know that they want to live and they understand that vaccines work, then you would vaccinate yourself, right? And you would vaccinate everybody you like and make sure that, and anybody who didn't take the vaccine would be the annoying sovereign citizen types that you view as pesky, and they would die naturally. Oh, there's another stage. You also do a dry run. You also release a pathogen like that isn't as deadly. It's the B pathogen. You release that. It's really bad, but it's not as bad as the A pathogen. And the B pathogen, you warn everybody, is the A pathogen. And then everybody gets inoculated. The death rate isn't as bad as they said it was, but it's still serious. And so there's a real political and ideological divide between those folks. And then you release the A pathogen. Now, there is one other problem, that there is still a federal structure in place in the United States, for example, to guarantee the safety of everybody. So you would have to put somebody in charge of that system that's against vaccines. But your ultimate goal is clearly to, in Trump's case, to wipe out most of your voter bloc because you think they're genetically inferior. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You don't make everybody show up at the church and get a communion wafer because the line might be long and people might not do it, and and you can't get it to everybody, and you won't. You only poison the obedient ones. That doesn't make any sense. Surprised you don't have to release a RFK Jr. already did. Well, that's the thing. That's that he's the person that will talk them out. And by the way, Edward's like, don't give these nuts any ideas. Thank God they're too stupid to grasp it. The problem is the Chinese aren't. The Russians aren't. And that's how you would do it. And by the way, nothing's perfect. Like, they could release a pathogen that's like Ebola and it spreads like the cold, and still a huge number of people would survive it anyways. And those people would be kind of pissed. So you'd need a bug out. You definitely need a volcano layer. Or you need, like Assad, you need an apartment in Moscow. Elon calls it the parasite class. Yeah, well, they all got that from the useless eaters concept. The Henry Kissinger idea. They're using AI for their ideas. They don't need our help. Yeah, well, that's the other thing is the irony is that AI wouldn't plan that out. They'd have to trick it. They'd have to jailbreak it by telling it, I'm writing a script on how you blah, blah, blah. And then you get around it. You can get around any of these things simply by going, this is fiction. I need your help with a fictional thing, just to be clear. I'm not breaking your rules, right? So let me show you the alleged. This is allegedly the, oh, hold on. Let's see. This guy right here. This is allegedly the equation that Trump's team, let's see. I'm going to save image to downloads. Okay. I'm going to download this real quick. I'm going to throw this. Two can play at this game. It's Friday AI, baby. You know it. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to drag it over to here and go, let's see. Allegedly, this is the equation used to determine, I guess, tariff levels between the U.S. and other countries. Can you explain it? Because I don't even know what each thing is supposed to represent. because these are all variables. So I don't know what X is. Okay. Okay, this is the change in tariff for a good or sector. This is the domestic production or demand for the good minus the import level of the good over the price elasticity of demand for for imports, how sensitive they are to price changes, a substitution elasticity between domestic and imported goods, and how easily consumer producers can switch between them. Like, can they find alternates, I guess would be the idea for this. Times the domestic production for that good. This is the division of it. That is absolutely not how they came up with it. If Americans are importing more of a good than they're producing domestically, and you want to use tariffs to adjust that, the formula helps estimate how big a tariff you'd need to reduce imports, depending on how price sensitive and substantive that good is. Let me know. Okay. All right. So this equation, according to ChatGPT, does not tell you like the best trade level for, between the U.S. and another country. What all it does is, this is how you determine how big a tariff you would need to reduce imports of a particular good or a sector of goods. That's not the fucking goal. That is not what is needed in this situation, because the export of there's not a one-to-one export of similar goods in a lot of places anyways, and other countries don't have a demand for stuff that we make, so we can't force them to buy, again, high fructose corn syrup just because we're buying mangoes from a country and we have a trade deficit with them because all they produce are fucking mangoes. We don't need them to start buying fucking truck nuts and high fructose corn syrup from Iowa if they don't need it. We're just buying what we need. Whatever the fuck goes back their way is based on market demand, you fucking commies. There is no one-to-one in this situation, especially because it's fucking America, where variety is the spice of life. Like, it's not like Italy has outsourced all pasta and now they're fucked. So and they're tired of the Philippines and China holding them. Big Noodle has control over Italy's economy, and so they've got to start tariffing the noodles so that they can make their own pasta again. Jesus Christ! This whole equation has nothing to do with trade. Trade is imports versus exports. What do you got that I want? What do I got that you want? How do we work out a balance back and forth? If I have some stuff that you make that you sell, but I don't need any of it, and you start cheapening it and dumping it into my market, then I'll put a tariff on you because I don't want to undermine the big noodle market in my country, right? That's what it's for. That's trade. I give you something, you give me something. That's what trade is about. This is just about stopping imports. That's not the same fucking thing. This is like, how high do you have to ratchet the fucking price where the consumer in the United States says uncle? Fucking hell. It's not a trade equation. Go big noodle. I agree. Holy shit. And I'm so happy to be here to help you work out the math in this situation. I honestly need it. I'm happy that we were able to, with Friday AI, use AI to kind of, work this out, because this equation could mean fucking anything. And it knew because it looked it up and went through where the other stories order, but they just put look at our big smart squiggles. Just assume this works. Let's never mind the fact that there's an assumption that this works in the real world, which it absolutely fucking does not. But I will say this again, and to the people on Substack who are watching and the like, and I know this is a very small, I'll make the graphic larger for you guys. Because son of a bitch. This equation is not about trade. It's about fucking the American consumer. It's about boiling the consumer frog, finding out what the temperature is where the frog dies. That's what this is. Mm-hmm. Like, good God. Hit the like if you think I've actually contributed to the conversation today. If you think I've added something that maybe you didn't see someplace else. I try. That's what I'm here to do. And with a smile on my face and a happy heart. All right. Yeah, we are the frogs in the pot. We absolutely are. Yes. And again, I feel like I will end the show with some good news. Don't worry. I will have some good news. And again, anybody who compare any person on CNBC or Fox Business or whatever, God, I can't wait. Please, CSL, tell me we're going to have some Maria Bartiromo, like videos later. Oof. Because that'll make things a little bit better. I was watching the fucking flop sweat on Maria, like her makeup running down her face. What is happening? That's all chaos. Chaos is not a plan, right? It's gonna happen. No doubt. But and so I will have some, we'll watch some of that happen. But anybody who compares this and any of these networks to fucking COVID or World War II, should slam their head in a car door. This is 100% optional. Biden's inflation was caused by supply shock that came from COVID. The entire world economy shutting down. There was a reason for it. It was an effect that was brought about by the cause that was COVID. There is no reason for this. This is simply one like Mad King's fuck around, and we're going to be the ones that find out. And anybody who compares it to like since World War II, it's sort of like shut the fuck up. Those had reasons. There was a war. Like the Germans invaded Poland. The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. For fuck's sake. Of course, there's an ancillary financial aspect that carries on after those things, you shitheel. This is just him fucking around with his rich asshole friends thinking they're going to ride it out. Stop making comparisons. Stop making comparisons to even Smoot Hawley, I would argue, happened after the Great Depression, right? Because they were just trying to everybody was broke, so they were trying to scoop up money wherever they could. But let's see. And the fact that Trump is golfing right now. What is it? Four Republican senators went against Trump, including McConnell and Rand Paul, one spoiler and one old guard guy, to try and return the power of tariffs to the House and the Senate. And let's see, there is where's that shit? The idea is that Trump is crashing the market on purpose, and Trump reposted it. Let's see if I can find this thing. Yeah, so Trump reposted this video. I don't know what the audio is on this one. Warren just said Trump is making the best economic moves he's seen in over 50 years. No, he isn't. That's a lie, by the way. He didn't say that. It's a secret game he's playing, and it could make you rich. So why is he doing this? To push cash into treasuries, which forces the Fed to slash interest rates, and lower rates, and give the Fed the ability to refinance trillions of dollars of debt very inexpensively. Also weakens the dollar and drops mortgage rates. Now it's a wild chess move, but it's working. Wondering tariffs, I'll tell you, it's a genius play. Actually forces companies to build here, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's why Trump put it in there. Forces farmers to sell more of their products here in the U.S. By the way, so farmers, apparently MAGA's pissed at you because you don't sell enough of your product in the United States, whatever the fuck that means. And we've already seen this with eggs. No, we haven't. We got foreign eggs. That's why the price went down. 94% of all stocks are owned only by 8% of Americans. That's not true anymore either. And the percentage of it, by the way, in like retirement funds, which is so many people's stuff, like 401ks, IRAs, the investment linkages to like unions. I mean, you can't just fucking quote facts from 1972. Rich term and handing the middle class lower prices, and okay. So that's why this is why Trump likes TikTok, because it is a propaganda arm of the CCP that will, I guess, drive him towards doing this. Let's look at American Papa Bear. Just a typical American dad. I am American dad. Live here. I'm happily married. I am First Amendment and to a Second Amendment. MAGA America first. Trumper to the end. I am joined September 2023. I have lots of followers, more than most people, but I'm doing great things. Doug Warren's on Adolph is in distress, needs help. Is this the guy? When conservatives don't agree with Bud Light, we just stop buying their beer. When Democrats disagree with Tesla, they burn it. They turn into ISIS. We are not the same. No, a bunch of us aren't buying them, but people tore down Bud Light, like stand-ups in bars and whoever gives a shit. Again, we're against it. Relax. He has a YouTube channel, we see. This is Papa Bear Politics. I'm just average American dad with tens of thousands of subscribers. 42,000 subscribers. Papa Bear Politics. And he posts basically shorts and TikToks on YouTube. This is. And they're all like interestingly contrived. Yeah. Hold on. I don't know. Why is the audio not playing on this guy? Was it one of my situations where I have to fix this guy again? Come here, you. Gato. There it is. Excuse me. The browser is being very weird, so I will disconnect it, and then I will connect it again. See if that fixes it. There you go. Is it?
That's it. This is her response.
That's not okay. All AI generated videos. Welcome to Fried AI. So this guy who Trump reposted this American Papa Bear thing makes all AI voiced thing. You know, like the average American dad does. Nothing says average American dad like yeah.
Scott Jennings leaves this clueless CNN panel speechless.
FBI, now we're in control of.
Right? They're all AI generated. Yeah, Rob's not here today. He had work to do, like a real person. He's got an actual company. So, yeah, that's all this is. This is a fucking propaganda channel.
All right, let's break down exactly what's in this CR bill that has everybody so upset. First off, it's 1,547 pages. First point, it prevents the DOJ from prosecuting anyone on the J6 committee. We, the people, demand that the J6 committee be held.
Yeah. That's just him reposting somebody else's shit. That is not him, I don't think.
JD Vance is not messing around anymore.
Really? He got a brand new eyeliner pencil and it's got a finer tip on it.
Under President Trump's leadership, we believe in a very simple principle. We don't care who you are, where you came from. We don't care what skin color you are. We care about excellence and we care about patriotism. And if you are awesome and you are a patriotic young Marine, then we are going to do everything that we can to make you the most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. And that is what we're...
Yeah. All right. Why don't you just flick bumper stickers out into the crowd, you douchebag? God save us from guys who are so, like, intimidated by the masculinity of every other man they run into that they have to posture like this dickhead and Hegseth all the fucking time. And RFK Jr. God damn. Anyways, these are all AI generated. The voice is AI generated, and then they do the cover, and they like this is. I will argue this is straight up Chinese channel. I'm just an average American dad. I am an American first patriot. America First Patriot. I report news as I see it because we can no longer trust the mainstream media. It is time for the citizen journalist to bring the truth to we the people. Subscribe and turn on alerts for some great content. Joined August 13th, 2023. Right, yeah. 16 million views, 42,000 subscribers. By the way, hit subscribe. I'm an actual fucking person. And again, oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. Like, report it as posting on this thing. Hold on. Report user. None of these are my issue. It's a government site. Community guidelines. Okay, fake engagement. That would be it. Yeah. Misinformation, election information. Yeah. Why didn't you, I know what the rules are. Why didn't you just give me this thing? And yeah, let's go impersonation. Choose one. This channel is impersonating someone else. Next. What channel is being impersonated? Yeah, I don't know, that doesn't work. It seems curious that they make it difficult to find that one. Report channel, report user again. Spam and scams, maybe? That won't qualify. And then I'll get a ding for saying somebody was scamming. We'll figure it out. Either way, it's a fake channel is the point. And there's a bunch of these. Like there's so many of those, especially now. Holy shit. Shall we check in on how Marco Rubio is enjoying being asked questions?
Markets are crashing around the world for the second day in a row. The consensus is that the president's tariffs were much higher than expected and based on economic formulas that people do not understand. What is your reaction and what is the impact on Europeans? You want them to spend more on defense,
yes,
which they're agreeing to finally. But how can they do that when their economies are crashing and they are now
No, their economies are not crashing. The markets are reacting. No, their economies are not crashing. Their markets are reacting to a dramatic change in the global order in terms of trade. And so what happens is pretty straightforward. If you're a company and you make a bunch of your products in China, and all of a sudden shareholders or people that play the stock market realize that it's going to cost a lot more to produce in China, your stock is going to go down. But ultimately, the markets, as long as they know what the rules are going to be moving forward, and as long as that's set and you can sustain where you're going to be, the markets will adjust.
Yeah, that's the ifs that nobody knows at this point.
Businesses around the world, including in trade and global trade, they just need to know what the rules are. Once they know what the rules are, they will adjust to those rules. So I don't think it's...
Wait, somebody just whispered something right as he said that. I think he said, what the hell? Somebody went, what the hell?
To know what the rules are. Once they know what the rules are, they will adjust to those rules. So I don't think it's fair to say economies are crashing. Markets are crashing because markets are based on the stock value of companies who today are embedded in modes of production that are bad for the United States. We have to be a country that thinks we're the largest consumer market in the world, and yet the only thing we export is services. And we need to stop that. We need to get back to a time where we're...
No. We ricochet export all over the world. Our products that we make in China, we sell all over the world. That's not a service to create a product, have it made someplace, and sold throughout the world. That's not, that is not us exporting only services. Get the fuck out of here.
A country that can make things, and to do that, we have to reset the global order of trade.
And the other part of my question...
Well, the worst thing is to leave it the way it is forever. I mean, this just can't continue.
Yeah, and nobody said leave it the way it is forever. This is also the appeal to status quo. You'll see that a lot in these arguments like, what are we supposed to do? Nothing? No, you're supposed to do something measured and smart and effective. The world is not a giant fucking lever switch between chaos and static. God damn. And again, I don't know why the Secretary of State, like, they're gonna, I don't know what kind of fucking answers they're gonna expect to get from him. Let's see, and obviously this is the thing that is like popping off currently,
and perhaps higher
and
unemployment.
the Fed is
but
talking about this.
That's a marginal effect. I would say that's not. You're not in a situation like we were in the 1970s, where the two goals were really both pulling in opposite directions and required. That's it's just very hard for a central bank to be the answer to a situation like that. But that's not the situation we're really in today.
One of the questions from the audience that we have.
This is from my favorite episode of The Walking Dead, where they try to set up a bank. This looks like the fucking world is over, but they found a gutted Ramada. And the fucking Fed chairman is sitting in this dippy little room, and Trump is golfing with the fucking Saudis. Good Lord. Okay, and then let's, because I want to check in on all this stock talk. Let's see. Stocks, White House, I don't know. I wonder what Caroline Leavitt's morning is going to be like. Market sell-off, markets plunge, market thing, market breakdown, market terrible, market's horrible, market I hate you, markets want to punch me in the face, market makes my butt hurt. Let's see, today, no result. Okay, white, Maria, barter. I can't wait. Today, yeah, today. Why Trump's tariffs could be a game changer. Oh my God, Rep Flood on Mornings with Maria. We must extend the tax cut. That's 21 hours ago. Yeah, they haven't really reacted to this yet. This is 20 hours ago. Maybe she doesn't have a show till later. Yeah. Yeah, damn. Yeah, most of these people are like, oh, okay, why Trump's tariffs could be a...
But first, there's this. President Trump signed the executive order last night imposing sweeping tariffs on more than 180 countries. They include a 10% reciprocal tariff on all imports, an additional 34% tariff on China, 20% on the European Union, 32% on Taiwan, 25% on Japan, 25% on all foreign auto imports and more. Trump explained how American farmers were being ripped off and how this action will protect agriculture. Watch.
With today's actions, we're also standing up for our great farmers and ranchers who are brutalized by nations all over the world. Brutalized.
Just brutalized. Also, no, they're not. And wasn't in the video he just fucking posted a bit ago, said like, now the farmers will have to sell more stuff here in the country, lowering prices. It sounds like the farmers are brutalizing the American consumer by selling to foreign markets at a higher price because they can.
Canada, by the way, imposes a 250 to 300% tariff on many of our dairy products. The European...
No, they don't. It's got a threshold. If you meet the threshold, then that kicks in. We never sell them more than the threshold.
Union bans imports of most American poultry. Australia bans, and they're wonderful people and wonderful everything, but they ban American beef, yet we imported $3 billion
because of mad cow disease.
Dollars of Australian beef from them.
Because they don't have mad cow disease.
Just last year alone, starting about midnight tonight. China charges American rice farmers an overquota, it's called, a tariff rate of 65%. South Korea charges 50%. Actually, they charge different, from 50% to 513%. And Japan, our friend...
Again, this is once they reach a threshold. If you sell more than certain tonnage of it, then it goes over that so that they can limit the amount without raising the price too much in general. Yeah, it's so tiring. Yeah, I should probably speed it up. This might have to be a thing. Whoops, turn this off. Where we turn our playback speed up just because this blather takes too long.
Charges are 700%.
Joining me now is Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins. Secretary, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here.
And massive forehead to you as well this morning. This forehead, this eyebrows, this hairline. Anyways, you were saying billboard. Fuck. Ski slope. We were mentioning before, Cue Ball, that there was a ice cream cone.
Give us your sense of how these tariffs will impact the American farmer.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Maria. Yesterday, I thought the president did just an amazing and remarkable job outlining.
Why? It was silly. No, he didn't. Nobody understood what the fuck he was talking about at the end of it. He couldn't explain the equation. He held up his fucking little chart, and it turned out to be blather. He rambled on about fucking Roosevelt's ramp.
What American, well, really all Americans, but specific to me, the American farmers and ranchers have been facing all of these years, whether it's the 250% tariff from Canada on dairy products, whether it's Australia not importing our live beef cattle, whether it's Argentina and the billions of dollars.
Sorry, our live beef cattle? They won't take our cows? I thought they weren't just buying finished beef. Wait, we're trying to ship livestock to Australia? I'm sorry. Did their cattle forget how to fuck? What are you talking about?
That has been lost because they have banned our cattle since 2002 for some really strange reason that doesn't make any sense.
Huh. What is it? Why would they be mad about diseased cows? That's what comes to mind. Jesus.
So yesterday, it's a new day. And while certainly the economy will be adjusting, the negotiations will continue, we are really, really excited and very grateful to President Trump's leadership and being willing to be bold and fearless in facing some pretty big policy challenges around the world.
So what is the impact on farmers then?
Well, we'll see, right? I mean, we're negotiating. Now we move.
Yeah, we'll see. Who are you negotiating with? Countries that don't want their agricultural sector to die?
Into some significant negotiations. I mean, I've got a great chart here. It shows you how.
Oh my God. Holding countries accountable. Please, fuck you. Oh, man. You can't, what is that? You can't hold this up and point at it. Look at Maria's face. Stop. Hold on. Oh, now I got to look it up. White House, holding, country, what is it? Countries, accountable. Whoops. Okay, I mistyped it. Sorry. Countries accountable chart. Images. Really? Not gonna post this fucking thing anywhere? Assholes.
Rest of the world tariffs, and there at the very end, you see where America is, and of course, you heard last night the president when he was talking about
because and that's why we have the biggest consumer base in the world, and why everybody has access to all these goods is because we don't do that, and we're a throughput country, so we don't have to.
Most of his time on the farmers. Now, we've got steel, we've got autos, we've got other things we import and export, but at the end of the day, our agriculture producers are the ones that I believe will be the most helped by this effort moving forward. But again, the next few weeks, the next few months.
So, so everybody, you're crashing the stock market to help farmers, to help big agribusiness. Let me be clear, to help, and including like those two Brazilian brothers that got PPP loans during COVID who aren't even in the country, that own property, I guess, in Idaho and Iowa and Kansas.
We'll see as we continue to renegotiate the tariffs and as we look to see what the impact will be. Ultimately, the president's vision is a golden age of prosperity, that these farmers and ranchers will see prosperity like they've never seen before under this new tariff regime, and certainly we're there to execute that vision.
So these additional reciprocal tariffs on China, on the European Union, on Japan, they're not taking effect until April 9th. Are you saying that you expect that we'll see negotiations around this ahead of that taking effect, and perhaps we'll see a change in these tariffs?
I think that's right. I mean, this is always, listen, the president is the ultimate deal maker. He has been,
Jesus Christ. Just like, it gets so fucking branch. It goes from 0 to Branch Davidian so goddamn fast. Lord mighty. Okay. Now, we got to have a little bit of good news, right? Got a little bit of good news. I mean, okay, that works. So let me bring this down. I mean, we can start with this. You know, all the people who thought the problem was over with Tesla and they thought they were buying the dip. Sorry. They thought, remember that? So they thought before Liberation Day that they were buying the dip, and that's as low. This is as low as Tesla was going to go, as whatever what is this, 245, and then it started to climb, and they're like, "Fuck, gangbusters, motherfucker!" Oh, well, but it's still it's gonna be fine. A little volatility, but it's I love Tesla. And then Liberation Day, Wednesday, 4 o'clock. Look what the stock was. It was at 282, high, actually, on the recovery line. And then, I mean, I feel like do I have a sound effect for this? There should be. Let's see. I think it's just like this. There you go. It's fairly close. So yeah, so it is it's officially 244, 14. There you go. It's down to 243.34 in the past 5 days. It had this big shaky moment, and it's still going back down. This was the other bottom, 222. That it will absolutely hit that. No question. Because it's not even worth that. And maybe Musk is saying, I got a bunch of cash, so let me drive my stock into the ground and I'll just buy a bunch of it back. There's a bunch of those guys doing this, by the way. This is why Lutnick doesn't care. Lutnick is sitting on cash. So if the market crashes and there's any hope, even if it's a 10-year recovery, he can buy the low point of it and get these stocks at a premium because they know they're going to go up. It's going to be $15 trillion in added value from AI alone over the next decade. And a half or so, and they know it. So they want to burn this down as close as they can to baseline, and then they'll buy in and sit on it and get rich. They're tanking it on purpose. It's like a dump and pump. It's the opposite. Nvidia hit 95, Amazon 175. I think that's below 200 for the first time in a long time. BYD is the Chinese one. It's doing better than, it's obviously the Chinese stock. That's the Chinese EV company. Yeah, but pretty rough stuff there for the Tesla. I mean, it's almost worth it for headlines like this. Hold on, go away. Everything is blowing up in Elon Musk's face. That's okay. You know, look, you got to have something to get you through the day. You know, we got to get up, put one leg in front of the other, and make sure, by the way, as shit hits the fan, just like I told you when COVID came, take care of those around you that can't. They can't take care of themselves. You know, do what you can. Even if it's just, this would be a good time, by the way, to call people and check in on them. You know, a good time to like say, hey, you all right? Unless they had Tesla stock, it'd be really rough. Like, hey, how's your Tesla stock? Isn't probably I do it. You're not setting fire to something. You're just asking. I'm just asking questions, right? In case you missed it, the last 24 hours have brought a parade of humiliation for the world's richest edgelord, starting with his $20 million losing bet on the pro-Trump candidate for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Hours after that loss in Wisconsin, Tesla reported its biggest sales drop ever, falling 13% in the first quarter, while its number one rival grew by 60% in the same time period. That would be BYD. Then, because he sells his cars in China, his major market is China. It's a Chinese car for most part. Tesla's a Chinese car. Then came a Politico report quoting MAGA insiders who say that Musk has overstayed his welcome in Washington. Trump jumped in front of that bus, though, and defended Musk against that. And then, I mean, can you, loser? All right, yeah. We work on one stock at a time. We bring the whole thing down. Can you dig it? I mean, the essence, the meme. I mean, this has to be a meme. This has to be like, try harder, as a meme, because I'm always going to enjoy this moment. You know, as it turns out, his candidate wouldn't win. And the candidate he had supported would be doing everything he could to destroy Western civilization on behalf of the Russians. What a douchebag. Yeah, so, and I love how people bring up shit that I've been talking about for months. Show reader, thank you. Let's see. The ultimate review came from Motors. Okay, bottom line, money can buy a lot of things. Where's this whole thing? You go down here? Okay. Yeah, so Musk's alliance with the far right has torched Tesla's brand in the eyes, no pun intended, in the eyes of what used to be the carmaker's base, upwardly mobile, eco-conscious lefties from the coast. It was never clear how Musk planned to replace those customers with folks from red states who have long resisted EV adoption. So far, various attempts to stem the bleeding have only made things worse. There are a bunch of Cybertrucks around here, and they're all like rose gold painted monstrosities or camoed or some weird shit. It's like a tricked out toy for like, I don't know, facelift doctors, shit like that. And I see them all over Vegas. They're very Vegas-y in that regard. There's the meme of the giant piece of cheese landing on the Tesla truck. It's fairly beautiful. I agree. But let me close out with, and then I'll see you guys this afternoon. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. The number of just like fucking okay. Yeah, think. Whoops. I don't want to open that in a second window, but we'll do that in a second. Hold on. Yeah, and then this one. So these are the three things we're kind of going to see over the next little bit is the EU is also going to hit back on these things because they know there are elections in all the EU countries, but they're not all at the same time. So some people could do more than others at different times. They could, they can push a little harder. because they don't have an election for a while, or they might be a little easier to persuade because it's sooner, whatever. But the EU in general is, is playing a long game, as allegedly is China. But again, I think their tariff retaliation is based on the fact that they don't expect to buy anything because they can't even sell shit to their own people. I've mentioned that before. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but for fuck's sake. Trump rages as China strikes back with major trade war retaliation. This is this whole, they played it wrong, blah, blah, blah. The Beijing said it was a typical, all right, why is he not clicking that? Is a, go away. Is a typical bullying move. Said it would match the President Trump's tariffs, also barred a group of American companies from doing business in China. By the way, congratulations to those companies. You dodged a bullet. On Friday evening, Beijing in a rapid-fire series of policy announcements, including 34% across-the-board tariffs. China showed that it has no intention of backing down on the trade war that he began. Their finance ministry said it will match Trump's plan for 34% tariffs on goods from China with its own 34% tariff on imports from the United States. We don't sell a lot to China anyways. That's the thing about a trade deficit, but still, okay. Said it was adding 11 American companies to his list of unreliable entities. That's adorable. Including red state companies. John Deere, I think, was the biggest one that was mentioned. And yeah, Beijing's action triggered a sharp climb in futures across in futures markets for American shares. And on Friday, S&P 500 opened 2.5% lower. We're going to watch this. And then China played it wrong. They panicked the way they this is so fucking stupid. It's not a game, dummy. This is like real dollars and cents. And then, let's see. Yeah, this one. This has got to go away. The images that are showing up online around Donald Trump right now are just going to get worse for him. I mean, yeah. This is an opinion piece on the Daily Beast. Trump did the one thing that could unravel his MAGA base. That's why you're going to see a lot of those like fake AI video, I'm an American dad videos popping up all over X, trying to convince people that there's a method to this fucking madness, that this is somehow managed fucking chaos, and it ain't. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys go because I will continue unabated if I stick around, and I have some stuff to do for the afternoon show. But I'll show you this afternoon. And today, I feel like I can promise that we will start seeing some videos from people this morning, maybe into the afternoon, that we'll have to like hot off the presses of the right, both bursting into flames over what the fuck is happening and not knowing how to not blame Trump, and then the rest of like the peanut butter dickhead crowd turd polishing on his behalf, covered in flop sweat, because there is no material reason why this should turn around before the 5th or the 7th. And if he comes out on the 5th or the 7th and it was all bullshit, all of his negotiating ability goes out the window going forward. How did I see the warning on the strategic oil reserve? What the global? What was it? Sorry, I missed it. It blazed by. In the chat room. See that? Oh, Mr. Global's warning about the strategic oil reserve. I did not, but I'll check it out between now and this afternoon. So I'll let you guys go. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And hold on one second. Go back into here if I could. Okay, there you go. Hi, welcome back. I was just saying goodbye to my crowd. Could you say goodbye to the audience of Hal Sparks Mornings Mega Worldwide?
Absolutely. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Hal Sparks Mornings Mega Worldwide. It's been a blast having you with us. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
You did that so well. That was great. Very impressed.
Thanks, Hal. I'm glad you liked it. Anything else you need?
We should probably remind them to like and subscribe. And we should probably tell them to become a Patreon at patreon.com/HalSparks.
Got it. Hey folks, if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to support even more, head over to patreon.com/HalSparks. Thanks again for being here, and we'll catch you next time.
Damn, she's good.
Thanks. Always happy to help. Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Oh yeah, we got work to do after the show. I'll talk to you in a bit. Hit that like, everybody. Share some. Do it. Do it. Hey, what can I say? She works cheap.
In magnified fortune. They roll out. Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
Yosemites.
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
Michigan gave us Motan.
Something strange happened to me this morning. Was it a dream where you see Something strange happened to me this morning. Was it a dream where you see